if you want to shift to the ethics in porn,
Sure.
Oh my gosh,
I'm here for it.
I know that a lot of people, thankfully, are very concerned with making sure that the porn that they're looking at is ethically made. And I think that ethical porn has become something of a buzzword, and I think that some companies maybe even take that term on and they ostensibly put in practices to sort of make sure things are being done correctly.
Or at least one bald female performer.
Right.
Honestly, that's the whitewashing of ethical porn or of queer porn in a lot of ways. I'm not meaning to suggest that there is anything wrong with hiring any particular hairstyle or anything else, but that does feel like one way of kind of creating like that fake environment.
Or even just putting a bald person in and being like, okay, well now we have a queer porn, but okay, but I don't fit that that structure, so if I'm in it, then is it not queer porn anymore because I don't have that look? No, fuck you, I'm queer. But so the most important thing, I think, for people who want to be consuming porn ethically is it's really easy nowadays. If you obviously pay for your porn, if you're paying for it, then you are likely consuming it somewhat ethically. But at the same time, if you're watching stuff and you find performers that you like, they definitely have an OnlyFans. Go to their OnlyFans and buy that shit, because that is ethical. That is you are giving your money directly to the person that you want to be supporting, and with that money they are feeding themselves, they are paying rent, and then they can make you more of the stuff you like to see. It's just like anything. I hate this sort of vote with your dollar narrative because I don't think it always works that way. But sure. I think when it comes to porn, it kind of does. People,
and not to shit on studios or anything like that, but chances are, if they have their own website, if a performer has their own way of making money outside the studios, if they have their own mini vids, clips for sale, and then you see them in a studio, chances are that whatever was produced, not everything that was produced by that studio, but whatever you see that performer in with that studio is ethically sourced too. Because I know sometimes people I'm not going to say all performers don't do higher. For example, if you see me in anything, it is anything I created, low production value.
Same.
Don't. Yeah.
Same.
No.
If I created it.
Lies.
No, if I created it. Not if I'm in it. Again, with the studio creations and stuff, but for the most part is.
So look at the studios that the performer you like is working with. If you also then want to consume some of that type of porn, I use that as a barometer of where am I going to place my dollars. They hire a lot of the performers that I like. And those performers also create their own stuff, so chances are that's ethically sourced.
Exactly.
And, sorry.
If I'm in something, at least for the past maybe 8 years or so, then I'm working with this company because I like this company. We have a relationship, exactly. Yeah, they've never done anything to me, that's scandalous. But everything Amberly just said, for sure. And I feel like I would love to encourage more people to go about things that way.
Well, viewers of the show have probably heard me say some version of my vague policy, which is that there's nothing wrong with occasionally sampling or stopping by some of those tube sites. And there's definitely nothing wrong with participating in these sort of free or amateur communities in a lot of ways, so long as you are also contributing to the economy of sexual content. And even if you aren't paying for everything that you consume, that you are at least in some way contributing to the general economics. How does that strike the two of you?
No, 100%. I watch Pluto TV, which for those who don't know, it's free. it's just constantly plays the shows. They have all kinds of channels, and you can just like binge watch stuff. And I find stuff that I like there. And then a lot of times I like it so much, I will go buy it. So I can't tell you don't go to a tube site where people advertise, and it's places like people like me get found and everything.
Yes.
But if you're only watching free stuff, then you're not contributing to what we do.
Yes.
I'll shut up.
No, you're exactly right. And I 100%. And I think, although the tube sites definitely hurt me when they first came around, but now here we are like 10 years later. I mean, 10 years later, we've been living with these tube sites, and though there are lots of problematic things about them for sure, especially when it comes to underage kids being able to have access to things that they shouldn't. But at the same time, people have discovered me because of these sites and come to me then, and then they do contribute. But I think of it a lot like Patreon. I consume like a stupid amount of YouTube content, and eventually I just could not deal with the commercials anymore, so I had to pay for the subscription service. And then beyond that, I've got the creators that like, I watch every single video they come out with. I love what they're doing and I want to support them. So what do? I go to their Patreons and I pay a monthly fee to support them to keep doing the thing they're doing. And you can think of it exactly that same way. If you are loving what you're watching, it doesn't matter if it's porn or if it's like a YouTube video, like, you want to throw some money at that creator, and you want to support them, financially, because we didn't choose capitalism. This is what we were born into. So, we all have got to survive under it. So if you can, so every person you can help support, you're just going to get more of that good stuff that you love. Yeah. And to me, like, that's pretty much the most ethical thing you can do when it comes to consuming porn.
So pay for your porn where you can, contribute to the economics of it. Do you have any like warnings that you might add? Any way for us to avoid maybe contributing to something that could be very harmful, whether because a performer hasn't consented or isn't of age to consent, or any tips for just how to avoid, I guess, contributing to the moral evil of the darker sides of the industry?
Well, I'd say for sure, definitely don't be doing any like dark web stuff.
Sure.
That's probably a big no. But also, I do think that I could be ignorant about some of this stuff too. But from me being in this industry as long as I have, like, I don't see a lot. I've seen zero underage stuff. Every single time that I have been involved in a production, like the checking of the IDs, the signing of the paperwork is very, very important. And I'm not going to say like we've had consent talks on every single set I've ever been on. I've been doing this for like 18 years, but I've never felt like the intention was to violate me. I'm probably privileged in a lot of ways. I mean, what can I say? I am. I'm sure I am. But I think that is somewhat a little bit less of a problem than the sort of media narrative, and especially the anti-porn people would like for you to think. So that's why whenever I hear people kind of talking about ethical porn, it makes my like spidey senses go off a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, where are they getting their information, and what kind of ideas do they have in their head that it's probably not based in the actual lived reality?
Yeah, fight the new drug and these different organizations that push that narrative. Yeah, I hear that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so 100% what Sinn said, 600% what she said. I don't know if that question came specifically from the new New York Times article, expose about OnlyFans. I will say, I know, but I mean, it was stupidly written and like they went about it in horrible ways, but I won't deny there's the possibility of kids lying and then creating something like an OnlyFans and using someone else's ID or something like that.
Yeah. I would never discount the possibility of these things being a fact. I just
Absolutely.
think
I mean, I'll go right ahead and say that when I was 14 years old, I had a job in a state that I was supposed to be 15 in. So the notion that there could be somebody under 18 claiming, or, you know, who's 17 or something along those lines, claiming to be, like, certainly that notion exists. I think that's a little different than the narrative of people being like forced into slavery and these different things, which certainly one person in a world of 7.5 billion is one person too many.
Right.
But
100%.
this idea that it is incredibly widespread in these ways is I think a little out of step with reality.
Absolutely, yes.
Exactly. Like even the platforms that we're on, ManyVids, Clips for Sale, I Want Clips, all of them require you to upload your ID. They require 2257. And they make you put your ID right next to your face. So that, I mean, mine doesn't look that much like me. We've got issues. You get it redone.
You know what? I'm not showing my driver's license picture. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to. Like, we don't need to go down that road.
Exactly. So like, as long as you're consuming your porn on like known websites, you're probably okay. It's when you're going to torrent sites and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to get to. Like, does this stuff happen? I'm not going to ignore that the possibility isn't there. Or, I mean, truth be told, it's most likely happened. But
yeah,
the known adult industry sites, the ones that when I prattle it off, you most likely know it. Or if you go to like Avian or XBiz or Why Not, and you can see them as a sponsor, chances are they're following these rules because we don't like jail time.
Yes.
Fair to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how you can make sure you're consuming ethical. Well, I mean, at least, in that regard.